All right. We're definitely live, just confirming on my Facebook. Last time I jumped on here, I had to double check because I was getting the freeze. I was freezing all the time. So I kept freezing with my broadcast. So hopefully I've done some upgrades this week and we won't get the freezes happening. Anyway, thanks for joining me. If you're watching this live, you're watching the recording. My name is David. You're obviously on my page, and I wanted to say hello. I hope you're having a great week. And this is part one of my live streams that I'm doing as the Honest Online Marketer. So just a few days ago, in fact, last week, I announced that I'll be doing some live streams and I'll be giving away content and information absolutely free to anyone that wants it, anyone wants to listen. And so if you are currently either working a business online or you're looking for something to do online, then thanks for tuning in. This may interest you because I'm going to be sharing my wisdom from the last 35 years, which sounds a bit scary, 35 years in sales, maybe more than that, and 16 years online. So if you're joining me live, welcome. I'm just going to do another check. Here we go. Yeah, it says live. So cool. Right. Definitely got some people on there. So that's awesome. So why am I here doing this? It's not really a podcast. It's really just a video, isn't it? It's because I've just learned so much over the last, 16 years or so online, and I thought I'd share it with people. And I thought, well, why not share it with people rather than sell it? Because a lot of people do sell their information. Well, because I've got so much out of this online business, community for the last 16 years. So I thought I'd just give back. And then, if you give out to people, then you might get something back or you might not. Maybe I just like talking. I don't know. But anyway, so welcome. If you're watching this part one, I'm going to be uploading this also onto YouTube. I'm on YouTube as David Nieuwenhoven. I'm also on Instagram, not very much so on Instagram. And I'm also on TikTok as well if you want to follow me there. So what I'm going to be sharing in this particular broadcast is about, I'm going to call it the gold rush. And I actually posted about it today. A couple of 100 years ago, we had a gold rush. We had a gold rush in Australia. We had a gold rush in America, probably some other countries as well. And I wasn't there then, so I can't tell you firsthand what it was like. But what I can tell you from historical documents and from videos is that a lot of people jumped onto this gold rush, okay? And so they jumped onto this gold rush. People literally packed up their belongings. Some people completely moved. Some people, moved out of their homes. Some people jumped on ships. Didn't have airplanes back then, so it was definitely on ships. And they traveled often thousands of kilometers or miles to go to a different country because there was gold. There was gold to be had. And so people went, looking for gold. They went looking, especially in Australia, we had a big gold rush here in Victoria, and people were looking for gold. Why were people looking for gold? Well, gold's such a valuable commodity. It's been around for thousands of years that we've been documented. And people knew that gold was valuable and you could trade it and you could, use it to do all sorts of things and buy stuff. It was better than money, it had a higher value than money, and probably still is actually, really, when you think about it. So a lot of people went for this gold rush, which was awesome. And now all the gold's been mined. There's probably still some left. So it's all run out. And we had people come from places like China, come to Australia, and they all got part of the gold rush. We had big towns pop up, same as in America, big towns and cities pop up. And, people jumped into this gold rush because they all wanted to make money. They all wanted to get rich quick, right? They want to be some of the first people to get that gold before it ran out or before someone else took it. And of course, just go into a history channel or go and watch some stuff and learn all about that. But what I want to talk about is there's two things that are relevant to today about the gold rush. And number one is, some of the people that made the most money in the gold rush weren't the miners. They weren't the people going in the mines, going in the tunnels, slaving away in the rivers, getting wet, dirty, cold, snowed on, in the heat, whatever was going on, living appallingly, living off terrible food and, pretty much having an uncomfortable life with no income, with no, just a hope that they might get some money because there was nothing guaranteed, of course. So who made money during this time? Well, some people made some money because obviously some people found gold, otherwise no one would be there. The gold merchants made a huge amount of money. So they made a lot of money, buying and trading gold. So they did really well. But the other people that did really well were the people that set up businesses around these towns and structures. And they were people that actually sold, stuff or tools for the miners, right? So they sold things like shovels and they sold, pails or buckets. They sold clothes, they sold hats, they sold boots and things like that. And I read somewhere that one of the people that made the most amount of money during the gold rush was the guy that actually sold shovels, which makes sense, right? And so the reason I'm talking about gold is because today we have a new gold rush, and it's a digital gold rush. So basically, we are seeing a huge number of people jump into the digital online space because there is so much gold that you can actually get from this online space. And unless you've been living under a rock or not paying attention, there is a lot of people making money. Like, people are making money ridiculously on social media. Like, some people are just dancing around on TikTok, or they're just posting AI pictures and they're earning money. And you think, how do they actually do that, right? Like, how's it actually done? How do they make money? But the point is that there's obviously demand for people to see that sort of content. Otherwise, they wouldn't make any money. So whenever you have a demand, whether it be gold or online products, then you're going to have customers that see value in whatever you're selling. All right. So if you've got something valuable to sell, it doesn't matter whether it's vitamins, health products, drinks, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. As long as people see value in it, then you're always going to have customers. And because I've been in sales for over 35 years and I spent, I think, 17, 20 years in retail sales, it was very different back then, because what would happen is if people wanted something, they usually see an ad on TV or in the paper, then they would come into the store that I worked in and they would already have an interest in buying something in most cases. So 90% of the people that walked in the door had some intention of buying a product. And all I had to do really was steer them in the right direction, help them with their questions, explain some of the features, and then, potentially make a sale, and I'd get paid, or the store would get paid and I'd get paid. And that's how businesses have thrived for years and years. Well before money was around, people used to exchange goods, exchange sheep, cattle, whatever. Nothing's really changed, but all that's changed now is the digital space. So now we have like everything, on one of these, all right, on the phone. So you probably can't see it there, but anyway, everything's on the phone. So I've now got my calendar, I've got my diary, I've got a video camera, I've got a photo camera, I've got an alarm clock. I've literally got an office on my smartphone, and that office can generate millions of dollars for me, which is just crazy. And what's even more crazy is if you think about, say, the mainstream media, if they wanted to do a live broadcast, they have to drive out this huge van, set up this antenna. They got all this equipment worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they do like a live broadcast to your television set, right? And me now, all I've got to do is just push a button like I've done now, and I'm live streaming across the world to whoever wants to listen to me, right? That's just crazy. So I have a global audience of people that are listening to me, my message, whatever I'm selling or whatever I'm offering or whatever it is. And that's so powerful. So that's why it really is a digital gold rush, because as long as you've got something that people are interested in, then you can offer your product or services anywhere around the world. And it costs you absolutely nothing, just your subscription for your phone. Literally, that's it. So a lot of people have changed from the old model of, getting up in the morning, going to work at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time it was. Back when I started working, I used to get up at 6. I started work, back in the old days, I worked in a factory when I first started. Then I worked in a shop. I'd get up early, 6, 6:30, 7, go to work all day, slave for someone else, never get any accreditation, never get any thanks, finish the end of the day, clock off, come back home, and then be rinse and repeat for the next 4 days. And I think most people still do that, and they're used to doing that because that's what's taught in schools. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need people to work, right? If we didn't have people to work, then we wouldn't have a lot of our services. But a lot of people have realized that the internet has changed everything. The internet is the place of opportunity. This is the place where the average person, or even a below average person, or an absolute beginner on the internet can make a lot of money. And when I first started 16 years ago online, I didn't even know how to use the internet. I literally could send an email. That was it. Certainly you couldn't do a Zoom meeting like we're doing now. I couldn't go onto YouTube or anything like that. And there was no social media. So I had to learn every single step. And what happens is a lot of people see all this stuff online and they go, I see someone making money, or this person's talking about making money, and they think it's like an overnight thing. I'm just going to jump on the internet and make a whole bunch of money. It doesn't work that way, right? Very few people can just jump on the internet with no following and make money. I have seen people with no following or very little following jump on the internet and achieve some amazing success, but there was a lot of circumstances around that. So if you're going to be building a business online, or if you've got one online already, it's going to take time. All right. So a lot of people, when they start online, they don't make a sale in their business. Depends on what their business is, of course. But they might not make a sale for the first few months, 6 months, or even a year. I've certainly known people that haven't made a sale for the first couple of years. But what happens is, in the meantime, they're building their skills. I mean, they're not sitting at their computer from 8 in the morning to 5 at night, 7 days a week, but they're just doing an hour or two a day every now and then. And they're building their skills so that when, when they're ready and when the timing's right, eventually all that work will pay off and then people will come to them. So, there's no such thing as overnight success. And as I say to people, it took me 9 years before I actually found something that was really quite successful. I did have success in other businesses before, but never the speed and the longevity as what I'm doing now. It took me many, many years, and I had to learn a whole lot of new skills. And I'm not a really good learner. I was terrible at school. I had terrible attention span at school. I thought school was a complete waste of time. All I needed to know was how to add, subtract, and read English, which I already learned anyway at home. But I thought most of school was really boring. I don't know if anyone's like me and they rebelled at school. That was me. I couldn't wait to get out of the classroom. I thought most of my teachers were stupid. I really thought that most of them didn't know what they were doing. And most of the classes that I was doing, I didn't see any sense. Like, why did I have to do chemistry? When was I going to use chemistry later on in life? Why did I have to do some of the stuff that was totally irrelevant? And I could see it back then that what I was learning was going to be irrelevant for my future. And I know a lot of people can resonate with that. So I was a rebel at school. I knew I didn't fit in. I was the black sheep. I was always naughty. I was skipping class all the time, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. So at 15 years of age, I got out of school. I left. I didn't want to finish the last year. I passed the year 11. I got out. There's got to be something better out there. But I couldn't just jump into being an entrepreneur or being self-employed in business. I know people have done it. I had to go and work for the man first, and I had to go and do stuff that I didn't want to do. And I had to labor and slave and do horrible jobs until I kept working my way up into jobs that I liked better. And then I got to a point, like a lot of people can probably relate to, where I didn't like working for people anymore. I found that most people I worked for had no idea about business. They had no skills of dealing with people. They had no customer service skills. They had no ambition. And I found that really frustrating because I had so much ambition. And there were so many times I was like, I could run this store, or I could run this company better than what these people were doing. And, it just used to frustrate me. So about 16 years ago, I was like, I've had enough of this. And all I did, to be honest, was I just went on the internet with one finger and I typed in work from home. And back then there wasn't much available. And so I did find a few things, and some of them weren't that successful. But right from 16 years ago, I had that ambition that I just wanted to be free. I wanted to have choices. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted. I didn't want someone telling me what to do. I absolutely hate authority. I'm terrible with authority. I know some people are good with that. This is one of the reasons I could never be in the armed forces. I hate people telling me what to do. I was a bit of a rebel coming from a family with, 7 children, and my mum sort of, biffing me around the ear. And I knew that I wanted to do something different. But I can tell you, it is not easy to be an online entrepreneur. Some people have it easy and others for different reasons, but it takes time. But the rewards are amazing, because once you make your first sale, or make your first, 5 figures or your first 6 figures online, you really never look back. It's very hard to say, you know what, I'm going to go back to work because I miss my co-workers, right? Sometimes it's lonely working online. I can tell you, like if you're doing Zoom meetings with people and talking to people, that's okay. But when you're in your own office and you're talking to yourself half the day or doing things, you've almost got to have like an invisible coach on your back, tapping you on the back, going, hurry up, do this, do that. And there's lots of distractions along the way. One of the biggest distractions is all the noise that goes on around the house or outside, and sometimes it's not ideal. Like sometimes the neighbor starts up the lawnmower or a chainsaw, or there's a truck parked out in the street, and that Zoom or that video that you're going to make that you spent hours in your head putting together and building up the courage to do it gets thrown out the window because someone spoiled it. You have to be really, really dedicated. And the other thing too is you don't have any other company, right? There's no one there to really cheer you on apart from your workmates, teammates online, or your mentors. Other than that, you've got to be really self-motivated. But it is rewarding if you can stick with it, because once you've got to a certain level and you don't have to worry about a job anymore, then it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And so, one of the things, and the main reason I want to talk about tonight, is that we have this big shift. And I call it the digital rush, because it's like the digital rush of people going to the internet and using the internet and social media to make a whole bunch of money, which is awesome. And they're not doing that. Most people are doing that genuinely and authentically with actual real products and services. And as I mentioned before, my last video, there is a bunch of people out there doing it unauthentically, and they are, ripping people off and scamming people into all sorts of Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, and all sorts of stuff. And, sometimes people have to go through a few of those before they find the right product or service that resonates with them and is a real company. So I just wanted to jump in for my first, what do you call it? Podcast, Zoom meeting, whatever, and say that, there is a big shift happening. There's a big shift happening for people to, and we saw that a lot with the COVID things where a lot of people had to work from home, is that it's a normal thing for people to get up in the morning, turn on the computer, and then work from their office, wherever that is, whether it's at home or on the beach or whatever. That is really the new lifestyle. That is what people are doing. And, next week, for example, we've got a masterclass coming up, which I can plug now. And that's going to be all about that, about thriving in 2025 and how to build a business online in 2025, because it's normal. It's normal to build a business on the internet now. Like I said, the old days of getting up and working for someone for 50 years, those days are gone. Some people will still keep doing that. It's all they know. They could never speak on a camera or never do a live or never get on the Facebook, and it's just not for them. But there's plenty of people like you and like me that go, you know what? I don't want to have to beg for time off. I don't have to beg for holidays. I don't want to have to, ask for $5 extra per hour because, I need more money. I don't want to struggle every time there's an interest rate rise or the rent goes up. I want to be able to be in control of my income. And that's what I want to help more people do. So I want to help more people have more choice and more freedom. And the only way I can do that is just by offering my experience and my stories with people and say, well, this is good or this is not good, and this is what I found. And you can do with that whatever you want. So anyway, I want to keep this nice and short. I want to keep these to like 10-15 minutes so I don't lose your interest. And hopefully you've got some value. If you're watching the live stream, please make a comment below or give me some love. If you're watching the YouTube replay, please leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you like this first podcast. I'm coming back with some more stuff in the next few weeks. And I'm happy to be here. It's all a learning experience for me. I've never done this before. I've done plenty of videos before, but I've never done it in this format. And who knows what people are going to say, but you know what? I don't care, because I know who I am. I know what I do, and I know that, where I'm going. So that's all. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and have a great weekend if you're watching this on a Thursday or a Friday. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Ciao now.